A little while ago, I was looking for an obscure instrument called a Hohner guitarette. To cut a long story short, it ended up being out of my price range, but while searching for one, I stumbled upon an instrument called a Taishōgoto, also known as a Nagoya harp. I'd never heard of these before, but there were a bunch of listings ranging from £60 to £150. I found a few videos of people talking about this instrument, but they were far and few between compared to other instruments. I kept thinking about the instrument for a few weeks and ultimately decided I didn't want one. I needed it. I found an electric acoustic version on eBay for a middle of the road price. It says that this one's coming all the way from Fukuoka, Japan. I clicked order and a few days later, it's arrived. This version is made by Suzuki. No, not the car company, the Suzuki Musical Instrument Corporation. They've also made melodicas and several electronic instruments, most noteworthy being the omnichord. My one came with replacement strings. I have no clue what strings you need for this and where to find them, so I'm happy I have these. It even comes with this little booklet which shows you how to play and even gives you some songs to play along to. Now this instrument doesn't use what we know as typical chords. Its standard tuning is the same for all strings, being G. The top strings can be altered by pressing the frets, whilst the bottom string remains the same as a drone note underneath the melody. This is well known in Eastern music. However, a lot of these instruments are microtonal, meaning that they use notes outside of Western music's most common temperament, 12-tone equal temperament. This is an instrument that uses 12-tet, but uses the drone note that I mentioned before. It feels like combining elements in both Eastern and Western music, and I love it. The look reminds me of a lap steel mixed with a zither, but the most notable feature being these keys, which are more reminiscent of a typewriter than anything else, even down to having digits written on them. The black and white keys distinguish the sharp, flat and neutral notes, like on a keyboard. It's seriously like they put a bunch of instruments in one. You pluck the strings with this style of pick, but I've seen people play with finger picks and even bows. There aren't many examples of the instrument being used in modern music, however I found a band called TEKE who incorporates the Taishōgoto in their music. I think they have a great sound, so I'll link them below. Now we know what the instrument is, I want to learn about its history. There is very little information about the instrument, but here is what I found. The Taishōgoto was made around 1912 by musician Morita Goro, who was based in the Japanese city of Nagoya, which explains why it's called the Nagoya harp. It was inspired by Japan's national instrument, the koto, and the key mechanisms of typewriters. That's why these keys are the way they are. The name Taishōgoto refers to the Taisho period of Japan between 1912 and 1926, where Japan was ruled by Emperor Taisho. When it came to the arts, Japan merged its culture with a lot of Western influences. And it was this fact that explains so much for me. Like I said before, this really feels like Eastern and Western culture merged and put into an instrument form. While I couldn't find much about this particular model, I take a guess and say that it was probably made in 1975 looking at the serial number. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. I think now it's time to start making some music with this thing. I'm most excited to use the jack output because it means I can use my pedal board to add some fun effects. I'm thinking of using some modulation. A chorus pedal would work. Oh, and some delay and reverb would work wonders on this thing, I reckon. Coincidentally, this pedal was also delivered from Japan. The A section of this will be in G Dorian. It's similar to the natural minor scale, but with a sharpened sixth, giving it a slightly brighter sound. In the B section, I'll be switching to the major scale to give a more uplifting sound. I'm using a drum loop from the sample pack Trip Hop and Down Tempo by Sample Magic. It's 80 BPM. I want something quite slow. I'll add some chords in the background to fill up some space. I'm playing with a record cutter synth made by David Hillowitz in Decent Sampler. I'm not sponsored, but I'll put both the drums and the synth in the description if you want to check them out. Let's add some bass. Now for the Taishōgoto. For the melody, I'm sticking to the notes of the pentatonic scales, as I think that works the best with these chords. Let's have a listen. And that's the Taishōgoto. Since discovering this, I've learnt to play a new instrument, created some new music, and even learned a bit about Japanese history in the process. And hopefully you've learnt some new stuff as well. I'll link as many of the sources I have down below, and feel free to check out my music if you enjoyed what I made.